Built for builders, from beginners to pros, this is where great backyards begin. Welcome to the Ultimate Deck Podcast, your source for backyard building tips, product breakdowns, and pro advice from the front lines of the industry. Here are your hosts, Shane Chapman and Wade Laurent.
Hello, everybody. It's Wade and Shane, the Ultimate Deck Podcast. How you doing, Wade-o?
Pretty good, buddy.
Good.
It's like finally starting to be warm out. Just kind of feeling like summer. You know, the second day of summer has been kind of cool and crappy here the whole
Do you think that the entire seasons are shifting back? That we're getting a longer fall, but summer starts later?
Maybe.
I feel like that's how it's been these last few years. It's like you keep thinking it's supposed to start getting warm like April, and then by May it's good to go, and then June is like full on summer, and it's like today's really nice, but it's just like we've had too many cool rainy days. It doesn't feel like June, you know?
And it doesn't ever feel like winter until like mid-November now. And I remember as a kid it was like Halloween.
Snowsuits for Halloween used
always.
to be. Yeah.
It was
Now
always.
you can get away without lots. Maybe it's happening. Maybe it's in our heads. Anyway, another thing that should happen, building a deck. This could be a fence or anything too, but building a deck with your kids. That's the topic today.
Fun.
So I think this is a fun one. It's obviously not the technical side of how to, but it's like, maybe you should think about doing this. So we wanted to just chat about like, here's some context. I've got deep emotional scars from when my dad didn't do this with me.
That's funny. I have them from when my dad did them with me. You're like, we should do this podcast about building stuff. And I'm like, you ever
Started twitching
stuff with your dad?
Yeah. So I grew up not like just different paths from my dad, right? Like I was more into sports and playing Nintendo and that kind of stuff. I guess my dad was sports too, but he was always handy. Like he was the mechanic and he would build things, whatever. But I never had an interest in it. So he never like.
I know your dad played
forced me
sports.
into it.
I used to play ball with your dad.
Really?
Yeah, when he played with the Wordsworth Huskers, played fastball when you guys moved to Arcola, and I played ball with him.
I like that part of my entire memory is not there. I didn't realize he even played.
You were
with
at home.
I remember him playing
Nintendo.
Nest, man. But yeah, it probably was for sure. But anyways, I know now being a dad and having kids, especially small ones that are like a couple of my boys, the one, especially the 6-year-old, is just my buddy. Like every time I go to the gym, he's like, "You're not going without me." And he'll go get his gym clothes. Like he'll come out and he'll work out. He sits there and does pull-ups and push-ups and he does it with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is just like a really cool moment. Like I bond with him in those moments. Yeah. And I just think it's fun and I'm proud of him for being interested in it. And it's like, man, I'm like, he's going to grow up now being fitness focused. And like I sure as hell wasn't ever growing up.
Yeah.
But it's like, because it's become part of like our thing, he's going to grow up and probably be much more likely to care about that when he gets older.
Yeah.
Anyways, so maybe that's kind of where this got triggered a little bit around like, hey, when you've got an opportunity to bond with your kids and build something and teach them life's lessons and skills that they can then grow up with, like that's a pretty cool moment. And a lot of you out there listening to this podcast anyway, probably have some backyard projects on the go that you could probably include your kids in.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about that today.
But they make it slower and they get in the way.
100%.
Yeah.
So there's like, and I don't do well with that sometimes. Like I don't mind I don't mind him working on me as long as he's not using the shit I need to use.
I can get on board with this podcast as long as we're not all rainbows and lollipops here.
Yeah. So that's for sure me. It's like often I'm trying to get something and I just want to get it done. And it's like the idea of sitting back and making it take forever is not in my wheelhouse, but that's why we're doing the podcast. And we're like, just stop and think about it.
It's
about
not
the
that
benefits of
matter. Like it's not that important, right?
So there's obviously an emotional side, like bonding side to this. I think it's probably the primary reason for this podcast, but there's an opportunity to create some memories and with your kids and these moments that are really invaluable that you don't get a chance to do all the time. You get a chance to do it when, you take them camping, like you're going camping this weekend, or take them fishing, or, building a deck or whatever it is. Just these moments that you can kind of bond and relate to are not just for that point in time, but that's going to leave a lasting impression on your kids, boy or girl. If they're interested, get them in there.
Yep.
Not only that, but they like, how much confidence does that give a small child when they get to go help and they like get to learn something and they get to do something? What kid, when you grab a drill, doesn't be like, I want to do it.
Yeah.
Like every time you're putting furniture together or whatever it is, like they always want to hold the drill and pull the trigger on the drill.
Yeah.
So they love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. The tools maybe change as you get older. I was here, I want to say it was last weekend, maybe I came through and I was on my way to Saskatoon and I stopped and I needed the forklift to be moved. So I said to the 10-year-old, I'm like, you want to move that? You want to drive the forklift? And he was like, yep. And I was like, typically when I come and stop here, everybody's like, why do we got to stop? We're going to half an hour. And I was like, all of a sudden the kids are out. One of them's driving the forklift. And I was like, no, like we're not going anywhere. You got to back away from the gate and turn and stop. And that's it. And they're like, yeah. But anyways, they're just like pumped.
Totally. It's also like a great moment for you to spend that time with the kids. Generally a project like that, if you're going to do it by yourself, you're actually taking time away from your family and you don't like, you're losing time with the kids. But instead, this is a way to not lose the time and actually have more valuable time.
Teach them a skill.
And if you're just both hanging out in the house. But it also teaches them a lot of good lessons around not only just learning how to do the things, but around like planning and around thinking through problems and solving things and just like digging into that part of your brain that you maybe don't use every day on an iPad or something, right? So, and then at the end of it, they also get to look back and be like how many times are they going to tell their grandparents or a friend that's over is like, I built the deck. And how cool is that for a 7-year-old to be able to say, right? Like that's pretty fun too. And so it can be something that like kids of all ages can get involved in. So obviously if you have a 3-year-old, you're not going to stick them on the miter saw to cut your picture frames in. Like that's probably not going to happen. But there's nothing saying that the 3 or 4-year-old can't come out and, run the magnet around to pick up screws. Like that might be something you're interested in. Sure. Sort the screws or something, or like
bring me the clips.
Bring the clips, put the clips on the joists or something, or pick up the scraps and throw them in the garbage. Like they can be involved. Run the leaf blower to blow sawdust off, like something. Oh, yeah. Like they could do some fun things too. Obviously, if you get into like kids in like grade school kids, all of a sudden they can start to flex some of their math skills or something if they need to figure out an angle. Or learn how a square works or run a string line and start to like dig into something that they have some familiarity with and they get to use their knowledge a little bit. That's fun too. And if it's teenagers, well, I mean, you're just shit out of luck. They're not hanging out with you.
They're not there.
That's not happening. You might still catch them if it's like 13-year-old might hang around for a little bit.
The other ones that start to show up is like 16, but like 13 to 16, they're not very interested. But at 16, they start to be like, well, I need some cash.
Yeah, maybe you might be able to talk
I'll
into it.
Work this weekend, but I'm not doing it for free. And it's like, that's okay.
You'll have to pay for that bonding time.
You still get the bonding time.
Totally. Now, obviously, if you're going to invite kids into a job site, there's probably some parents that are in here like, this is stupid and it's dangerous and you shouldn't have kids out there. So
I think everything's dangerous. Like you put them in sports, that's dangerous. You let them go to school, and let's be honest, that's not the safest place it used to be either. It's like, they ride their bikes. That's dangerous. It's like, you can't bubble wrap children. And I think that's actually a bit of a problem with society. It's like, let them get a sliver and then dig it out. And then it's okay.
Let it fester for 3-4 days. Show them what happens with that treated longer.
Right. It's not going to, their hand's not going to fall off. And it's like, also they're like, these are your children. Yeah. Of course you're going to be safe with them. Of course you're going to take care of them. Right. It's like, I hope nobody comments on this and be like, this is a terrible idea. I'll have an opinion.
We'll get to how to safety it up here in a second. What I forgot to mention to those that like, you ever go to, and I hate promoting box stores, but you go to a box store, sometimes you see those little like kids work kits. It comes with like a little tool belt and like a hard hat and like glasses and maybe a little hammer and stuff like that. How fun, like for just to go pick them up one of those and they get to suit up. Oh man, like they would get so pumped. Go out there and they got their own little tools and they got their safety glasses on, and then safety becomes a part of it. Yeah. Because those things always include the safety gear. But that's the next step. You're going to do this, fine. But now you have to be very present and aware of the entire scenario. When it's just yourself, it doesn't matter. When it's just yourself, you can set that saw down, you can walk over and do what you're going to do and come back to the saw later and the saw is still there. Yeah. Kids out there, especially the young ones, you're going to need to be a little bit more aware of what you're doing. When you're done using that saw, unplug it. When you're done using that saw, pop the battery out. Yeah. Things like that, right? Drills, probably fine. But if you look at that tool and be like, if this ended up in the hands of my child unattended, could this become catastrophic? And if the answer is yes, then take the extra second to pop the battery out, keep it with you, do whatever. Yeah. And just make sure that take that little extra safety step. Yeah. I think it's probably also, if you give them their own tools, they're less likely to want to reach for yours. Yeah. So if you it's like you have an extra drill or an impact drive or something like that, it's like, this one's yours. You use this one. It's like, oh, sweet. Yeah. Even a fake little skill saw so that they leave your skill saw alone, that kind of thing. Obviously, you want to help protect their, like, you're not going to wear this stuff yourself, probably. You should, but you're often not going to wear glasses and maybe hearing protection. It's your kid. Like,
so that's really
show
funny.
them the right way.
I would say that I'm more inclined to wear safety gear now than I ever was.
Yeah,
I
totally.
never wore it before. And so an example of that is we were out shooting a couple weekends ago, and I would never wear ear protection when I shot shotguns and stuff.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, well, I want Jake to wear it.
Totally.
So then I put my ear protection on.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh yeah, ear protect. And then he throws it on. So the safety tips are like, it's better to have your kids around. Right?
Totally.
So
yeah, I mean, the glasses thing is a no-brainer now. I know that everybody that's ever built anything for a living is pretty familiar with the safety squint. It's stupid. Like, it
never works.
Put your safety glasses on.
But they fog up. I don't like that.
Yeah, if they do, it becomes a pain in the butt. But another good point was you can also mark off like a danger zone. So if you know you're gonna have a miter saw set up over in the corner, and you know you have some other saws and stuff too, mark it off, tape it off, even if it's spray paint in the grass or whatever it is. And it's just like, teach them. It's like nothing past the red line. You're not allowed to go into the red line area. That's where the danger happens.
Yeah.
I still think unplugging and all of that is still important, but there's additional things you can do that kids of at least a certain age will be like, I understand, I'm not allowed to go to the red area.
Yeah.
And maybe you give them a green area over here where it includes all their tools and stuff they can do.
Yeah.
It's like, just help guide them to the safe things.
Totally.
Obviously, making sure that they're safe from a fall perspective. You don't want them up on high areas. Let's be honest, you can't keep an eye on them for every single moment when you're busy doing other things. So you just need to be aware of the dangers that are present if you're not directly.
Yeah, just the opportunity, right?
Yeah, for sure. And the final thing is to make sure that they are, like, it's fun for them. So this is, sometimes it's easy to get frustrated on a job site when things are going a certain way or whatever, but this is supposed to be, they're looking forward to working with dad or mom, and this is a bonding opportunity for them. So make sure to keep it light, keep it fun. Setting milestones or challenges for them makes it more fun for them too. Gamifying it in some way. Mm-hmm. If it's like, little Sally, as soon as we get all these boards up on here, that's iced tea break. We get to go in for iced tea, and it's like all of a sudden like, oh, okay, that sounds great. And then you get to have an iced tea on the, throw a piece of plywood up there and be like, oh, we're gonna have it on our new deck that we just finished building or something, or whatever it might be. Like, if you count out 20 of those joist hangers and whatever, then there's reward or something too.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Little milestones are fun. I mean, we appreciate milestones too. Everybody likes framing. It's like, oh man, framing's done.
Framing.
Yeah, it feels like an accomplishment.
Yeah,
help them lean into that as well. So, anything else to add, Wado? This is a fun episode.
Yeah, nope, I don't have anything else to add, but I just remembered my childhood. I was like, have you ever read those memes or like heard people say jokes? It's like, well, you can't hurt my feelings. I used to hold a flashlight for my dad.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that's building for me. Like, my dad was a short fuse dude. And it was like,
but I was self-taught
tired.
when I was like late 20s. I just decided to get interested, or maybe a little bit earlier than that, but into my 20s, like I self-taught. Like, I learned a bit from you. I learned a bit myself just because I am a natural go learn how to do it yourself kind of guy. But I definitely wish I would have grown up. And I'm still not mechanical in any way, and I wish I was. Like, I wish I knew how to do more things in my car and my truck than I do. Like, I can do the basics, but I don't know how to diagnose things or like go in there and fix. I can't replace a starter in my truck if I had to. Like, I just don't know that. I can change my oil, change my tires. That's about the extent of it.
Yeah. I'm not mechanically inclined either. And as much as I joke about, like, dad was yelling, it's like, I have a lot of skills that I learned from him.
Totally.
And like, to this day, him and I still build things together. It's like, I go back home and he's working on a kitchen like he's building a kitchen for someone, and I'll just pop into the shop and I'll run the edge bander or the line borer tool or whatever. We still build cabinets together. Yeah.
So these moments, this weekend that you're going to build a deck is potentially a lifelong impact. It's a great moment, but it's also potentially a lifelong impact for your children as they grow up.
Yeah.
And let's not sleep on the little girls that may not be initially interested, but if you make it fun in the right way, that they might get involved, because as they grow up too, like, not necessarily are they gonna have somebody in their life that can do all the things for them. I know I have plenty of friends and family members that are single females living together by themselves, and they always need to call for help all the time. Yeah. Learning some of these good life skills at this age that they can grow up with, and it's like all of a sudden they can They can change their own light switch and they can hang their own pictures and they can do all sorts of things. It's like, that's empowering as well. So don't think that this is just a boy thing. This is a people thing.
Yep.
So
100%.
anyways, hopefully that helps. Hopefully that inspires somebody to get out there. I want to hear about these two. Like if people actually listen to this and be like, you know what? Good call. I'm going to get my children involved. I would love it. I would love to hear those stories. Like if you have any way to reach out to us,
could you imagine?
Send a freaking picture. It would be unreal. Leave us a 5-star review on our Facebook, on our Google page with a review of like, I didn't even shop at this place, but they did a podcast episode and I ended up having this great moment with my son. That would be one of the coolest reviews we've ever gotten.
Yeah.
So let us know if this is something that inspires you to involve your kids and you have like, it turns out being like a great moment for you. I think that'd be super cool.
Fun.
Anyways, till next week, take it easy.